Heyo everybody. Sorry about last week. Girls were off of daycare and my wife had a bunch of meetings and it just was not going to work to live stream. I hate kind of breaking the streak of my Wednesday streams, but again, it was just going to be impossible to kind of do that. Anyway, today I had a really small Papercut that I've been coming across. Let me switch to both here. So I'm in the framework now, but I think what's going to make sense is probably to demonstrate this. And this is something that I come across a couple times. Uh-oh, I've got a little warning here. Am I not? System audio, am I not doing the right thing? Oh, I see. Yeah, my AirPods are not connected. It claims they are. Huh. Well, whatever. It's not a huge deal. Oh, now it says they are. Okay, good enough. Well, if I don't hear you in the chat, sorry about that. I'll check it every now and then. Okay, cool. Hey, Bernard, how's it going? So yeah, sorry, let me get back to it. Let me demonstrate kind of this tiny little Papercut. And it comes across, once every 6 months I'll do this. Honestly, I really don't use the artisan make commands a whole lot. But yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes I'll come back to artisan, make, let's just do controller. I do it more for tests actually for some reason, because a lot of time with tests I'll give it the whole path. But sometimes I'll just get in here and I'll say something like usercontroller.php. I'm not thinking. And here you go. You get a file that has .php.php, right? Because I threw on the .php. It's just a habit to kind of throw that on there for me. Again, I'm a bit OG. It makes a little more sense sometimes when I'm already kind of making a test and I'm saying something like, feature, what is it? Feature, HTTP, controllers. Like I'm writing the path anyway. And so I end up, again, just kind of by habit, just throwing on that default.php. And again, I get the .php on the end. This has been in there for years. I've done it several times over the years. Again, this may just be a stupid thing that only I do. Let me know in the comments. But it's just one of those tiny little edge things that, like, if Laravel just kind of handled that, that just feels like a Laravel thing to do, right? It's that tiny bit of polish that kind of no one thinks about. As a developer, of course, duh, don't put the PHP on the end, right? I'm an idiot. But like, you see that and you can fix it. But again, if the framework just saw that, chopped it off, base name, whatever, like, again, I just think it's one of those beautiful little touches that Laravel has so many of, and why not put it in the framework, right? So that's the problem. Let's jump into these make commands and kind of go from there. Oh, is it cropped? No, I'm not zoomed in. You can zoom in. There's me zooming in. But yeah, it shouldn't be cropped anymore, I don't think. Let me know if you can't see it. Okay, so again, let me know in the comments if you've ever done this yourself. But what we're going to do is we're going to switch back to the framework. All right, cool. And let's do get checkout 11.x, get pull. Let's get all the latest from upstream. Oh, my computer's always restarting. We like have a lot of power outages. They're doing a bunch of work like up the street. They're putting a sidewalk in, which is great. But they shut off the power every now and then, I guess, when they're doing something. So my stuff's always rebooting. Anyway, get checkout -b chop extension is what we're going to call this. And what I want to do is let's go into like the make command. So there's all sorts of make commands. Let's just get in controller, but I'm pretty sure these all follow a generator command. And so if I fix it I'm thinking that if I fix it in one place, I can fix it in all places simply from this generator command if we're lucky. So let's see what this generator command does, and what I'm hoping for is, and I expect somewhere in here, that there's going to be something that gets the name argument and does a little work with it, right? That's all we need to find, and then in there we're just simply going to say, hey, if string ends with .php, chop it off, right? Okay, cool. So let's, whoa, that's a lot of stuff here. Okay, so we get the stub, we get the reserve, get input, get name input. Here we go. First, we need to ensure that the given name is not a reserved word within the PHP language and that the class name will actually be valid. Okay, cool. So get name input. So here we go, trim name argument, and then they do it again right here. So that's everywhere where the name input kind of happens. So perfect. Here's where they're pulling out the name, and then from there they qualify the class and they do all the stuff. So this method right here should, in my mind, fix it everywhere. Now, real quick, I just want to see how many places is this used. I wouldn't want to do something that like breaks this everywhere else. But if they get the name input, like, I think it's actually not that many places. Again, it's the model make, it's the factory make, it's generator make, test make. Did receive options, is reserved after prompt for missing arguments. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. So what type of test would you like? Is reserved name or did receive options. If get option name is equal to get default, I'm just kind of understanding. Get option get name. Oh, this is something else, sorry. Okay, so I think you always have to put in a name, but if it can't determine, yeah, if it can't determine what it is, then don't do it. So if you got a name or you got some options, like carry on. I guess they use prompts. I'm just trying to understand how they use prompts real quick. If you don't, let's go back to our command line. If you don't put in a name, so let's go back to Laravel app, this little new app. And what if I do PHP artisan make controller? Does it prompt for a name? Okay, it does. So what if I say user controller.php here, and it's just an empty resource. Controller exists, of course, duh. Name, all right, let's nah that out. Let's try it again. User controller.php, empty. Okay, it still does php.php. We would just want to make sure that that path doesn't use the get name input in another way, right? I'd be tempted to change that to get name instead of get name input. Here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to go to the Laravel app, if I can type. And let's just, I think it'll be easier to test this here by just kind of hacking down into the vendor files real quick. Because again, I don't expect this to be a very large change. So let's go down to the generate command. Or well, where was that? Make command? I think it's called generator command. Yeah, generator command. All right, we gotta wait for PHP Storm to index. Yay. All right, cool. Get there, PHP Storm, you can do it. But anyway, in this generator command, which is probably here, we can find it faster on our own, maybe. Let's just open that. So, is it so simple to just go here? Oh my gosh. PHP Storm, you're killing me. I wouldn't want to mess with qualify class. I think get name input is definitely where we mess with it. Get name input. Here we go. Let's pop this off. Just this file. So let's say name equals that. And we'll say, do we use str here? We do? Okay. So we'll say name equals that, and then we'll say str ends with .php, sorry, name ends with PHP. Then we would, we don't want to base name it. We would have to str substring name negative. Can you do -4? No, you have to do like this, which I think is not very readable, but that's okay. Otherwise, we return name. All right, we'll clean this up later. Let's nah this out and again, see if that's the fix, right? So we'll do it our way first, user controller.php. Boom. Okay, good. See, we don't have the double PHP there. All right, so again, as simple as that. Let's do it without this. I nad that, I think. So we'll say user controller.php, empty resource. Boom, that works as well. Now, I can't guarantee every single command works here, but we did an audit very quickly of what that looked like elsewhere. So I'm just trying to see kind of how they do the returns here. You want to be strict about the ends with, I think. Get the desired class name from the input. I think based on the description, I don't like this. I would just call it get name personally. But get the desired class name from the input. I think this is the right place to do it based on the description of this method. So let's get out of here. Let's go back to the framework now that we've proven that this kind of works without tests. And let's go down to our get name input, wherever you went, get name input. Is that not? Oh, sorry, we're in the controller one. There we go. Get name input. Boom, boom. All right, let's replace it with this. Again, I think there might be some more Laravel-esque replacement that could happen there, but let's just hold on to it for a second. What I want to do is see if there's any tests for this. There are generate command test. Okay, so what does this do? The given name is a reserved word. Okay. Error exit code. What would we expect here? Test it cannot generate class name using reserved word. How could we test? Does this do anything like directly where I could? What are they running? Oh, they're just running make command. I'd like to write a test for this. I'm just wondering how. There's no public method directly on it. So what is like, does this have its own test? Yeah, it does. Okay. Make controller protected files. It cannot generate or test it can generate controller file. All right. I think it's fine to probably just put it here. I mean, once it's here, it's fine. It's kind of like a generic test though. I could always take one of these tests and put it back in the other location. So let's do that. Let's borrow this generators thing. Let's do vendor bin php. Oh wait, sorry. Let's go back to the framework. All right, and then let's do vendor bin php unit. Let's run these, make sure everything passes. Of course, something blew up. Access to undeclared static property. Trait make command test latest response. Composer update. Maybe I've got like, maybe I'm missing something. There we go. I was just missing something. Okay, cool. Everything still passes. Good. So I've done this. Everything passes. What we really need now is just a test to demonstrate the change. And then I would feel comfortable maybe refactoring it just a bit. So I think what I'd like to do is just pull like a very simple test here where we pass it in a name with a PHP extension. And we kind of just like assert that the file exists. So let's borrow this. Let's go back to this generator command because that's really what we're testing. So let's go back to this and we got this public static. Okay, that's our reserved word thing. Let's just say test it chops PHP extension. All right, cool. So we'll just say foo controller.php. We don't really need any of these other options. That's not what we're testing. And we'll simply say, we'll make command, and then we'll say assert file exists. And it would be, I'm just using command because that's what the other one does. The other one actually doesn't generate commands, but that's okay. So this is console commands foo command, and we would expect foo command. All right, I'm going to copy the test path, pop that in there. Okay, and it craps out. Failed asserting that file exists. Why would you not work? Is that the right path for a foo command? App console commands foo command, right? That would be where it goes, right? Right? Am I crazy? Let's just go find out. Laravel app, PHP artisan make command, foo command.php. App console commands foo command. App console commands foo command. Okay, that does not exist. I think, you know what? I think Orchestra needs a little bit more setup. I think there's some setup that's probably happening. Files. This assert file contains. Interacts with published files. Yeah, see, this is. Yeah, see, this just goes to PHP unit, not to Orchestra. Okay, so there's probably like a extends test case. What is the test case here? Orchestra test bench. Orchestra test bench concerns interact. Here we go. Interacts with published files. What is this called now? Is it deprecated? Marked as internal. Okay. Yeah, that's the problem. That's interesting. So part of me feels like this. Oops. I got too many files open. Let's go back. Part of me feels like this. Where is that test case that last one was using? This. Illuminate test integration generators. Where is this one? Illuminate test integration console. Okay. That's fine. So let's borrow whatever this is doing. This is doing this stuff. So let's just borrow this. All right, we'll bring that in. We'll use interacts with published files. That internal thing's kind of strange. And then we'll re-import the Orchestra test bench. Okay, so we've added this published files thing, which should now look in the right location for what we expect. Okay, let's go back to where we were. Let's run this again. Still fails. Why do you fail? Don't fail. Pass. Did I get it wrong again still? Assert file. It's still going down here. That's not right. Why? Why are you still looking down in PHP unit land? What am I missing here? Protected files. Is there like a setup? There's no setup here. This is just an abstract Orchestra test bench test case. Did I have the wrong one? Orchestra test bench test case. Data provider's fine. I added this use interacts with published files. Is that the right one? Concerns. That's the right one. This seems to give me, yeah, assert file contains. It should give me access to, oh, maybe they don't have file exists. Assert file name exists. Ugh. Come on. All right. It's always something. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's just do php.php. That fails, and then I want to go back and remove my change just to kind of demonstrate that everything works the way we want, so we'll simply return this, which is what it was doing. All right, and everything passes. Okay, great. And then we'll put this back. Everything fails, and now, oops, did that too fast. Oh, duh, because wait. How did that pass? Did you see that? That actually passed. How did that pass? Assert file name exists. Assert true, files exist. That can't be right. How do both of these pass? 7 and 7, 14 assertions. Hold on a second. Something strange is happening here. How does that pass? Oh, we return the... This should pass. This should not. That should not pass. I've got PHP and PHP, but we've seen that it actually does the .php. So is this just like... Is this assert file name thing just like working base path, assert true? Let's add this just for giggles. Yeah, that's strange. That's strange. There's something weird with this assertion. This matches, like, it's almost like a prefix match. It's very strange. It's failing on line 188. Or sorry, failing on line 19 of our test. Line 19 is this. This one passes. That file, technically that file does not exist. Orchestra must be doing like some kind of interesting prefix thing underneath, or the file system is. I don't, the memory file system. That's strange. That's blowing my mind right now. Okay, now, see, it still says .php. Both of them exist. Let's put our code back. Does this pass? No, see, it doesn't pass. Assert file does not exist. .php. That, I don't understand this. That's making me nervous. This just like passes with both versions of our... This passes with both versions of our bit here. That's ugly. All right, let's give this a few more minutes. What's going on here? Something very odd is going on here. I love it when the code behaves like in a way that's just like makes no sense and makes you question everything in life. Let's do a dump here of app file. Orchestra, does that really exist? It does. What's in commands? Oh, they're both in here. Okay, I know what's going on. You have to clean up the directory. Yes. This. You have to do this. That's why. Everything's existing from all of my previous commands. That's what's going on here. When you use this, you have to make sure that you, clean up published files. So setup okay. Determine if trait teardown has been registered. Okay. So setup interacts with published files, teardown, assert file contains, okay, cool. Setup interacts with published files. Do they call this anywhere in the code? They don't. I guess my point here is that if I put a dump of here, we're probably not getting in there when our test runs. Oh, we are. We're getting in there ahead of time. This calls clean up published files. Glob make. This app files delete, so it uses the file system and it cleans up, but it doesn't seem to be cleaning up our commands. Yeah, see, they're both in here. What happens if I run the whole? So they're on the other tests, but they're all still in here. That's strange. It claims to be cleaning them up, but it's not. I wonder if you have to like register which, okay, collection make this. Oh, there you go. There it is. There it is. If we go back, okay. If we go back and look at that controller make test command, here you go. There's what it is. Boom. All right, that's our issue. We have to say the thing that we needed to clean up. We needed to clean up this file. We can take this away now. And now when we run this, okay, yeah, failed asserting that. Okay, so we need to get rid of all of our stupid little dumps now. So where are you, dump? See you later. And then where did we get that? We still have this one in interacts with published files. So there's another one. Dump, there you are. All right, got our dumps away. Okay, you have to register which file you want to remove. Okay, so now if we go back to our command and we go back to this, we should be back to passing. And if we undo this, we should be back to failing. Okay, this is correct. I just didn't have the proper orchestra setup. I knew it was something. Okay, so now we have our failing and passing test correctly. This all passes. It's all good. So now there's an opportunity to clean this up. Here's where we'll finish. I'll do the PR on my own. I'll publish it. I'll put a link on Twitter. But tell me what you think. I know Laravel. I know they don't really like these long lines, but I know that they like, you know, nice kind of return flows. So what we can do here is we can say something like if. This is the way I would refactor it. I would probably say if you're that, you know, then return this substring of that. Otherwise, just return the name. That's probably the way I would refactor it. I think the only other thing I would do is substring always just feels like a bit way too technical for me, and I know this. It makes sense in this case because you're just chopping off, you know, the PHP part. But part of me is kind of like after last, maybe, is I just would find this like more readable, personally. I think this works too. Nope, it doesn't. Just kidding. What does that actually return? str after last, or sorry, before last, not after last. Whoops, went too far back. There we go. Yeah. I don't know. That communicates a little better to me of like what we're doing. We're talking about, hey, does it end with PHP? Okay, if it does, then do the last one. I think because of this line, you know, it's not a reach to understand this kind of these numbers, these magic numbers that are happening. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the chat real quick. I've heard some beeps. Let me see whatever people see here. Okay, cool. So hey Bernard, I guess it's a magic setup trait. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we figured out the orchestra thing. It was just files. We saw that kind of at the top of the controller bit. So what's this about? This is about Laravel. Cool. All right, well, anyway, I will push this up. I'll make sure to run Pint on these things and get this PR all ready to go. We've added a test. I think this is pretty good. Again, Taylor might, you know, collapse that into something. I know he always likes to kind of put his little touch on the code. I don't know which way the framework consistently does. Again, I like the early returns, but I could also see this going back to a ternary because it's not that dense. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining live, stumbling along with me with orchestra. That's always fun. Yeah, see you all next week, right?